But what we have now, we've seen when the Russian invasion began on the 24th of February 2022, Russia was sitting as the president of the United Nations Security Council, and it was invading a fellow member state of the United Nations system. If you need a metaphor or a sign that the international system of collective security is broken, there you have it. And I would actually say that the system is functionally dead. The UN Security Council is a living dead organism. It doesn't really achieve very much, and it has become suffocated by the actions of powerful countries who are indiscriminately using the veto power to pursue their own selfish interests. And the system also excludes a majority of the world's population from international decision making. I think the members of the Permanent Five, US, France, UK, China, and Russia, constitutes about 1/3 of the world's population. So you've got 2/3 of the world's population really at the mercy of very hostile powers and forces. And it's time to rethink, I would argue, and remake the global order. Now, this does not mean throwing the UN baby out with the bathwater, but it does imagine reimagining multilateralism, redesigning institutions to create a more effective and inclusive global system of collective security. From an African perspective, this is an urgent task for us. More than 60% of the agenda of the UN Security Council focuses on the African continent. And yet no single African country has a permanent seat or permanent membership of the UN Security Council. And so in effect, we see a situation of injustice where African countries can only participate in deliberations and negotiations about their own future as spectators and bystanders. So the multilateral system, from an African perspective, is equally unfair, unjust, illegitimate, and the Security Council really has to be transformed. If you add this, the historical context of African countries barely being present in the formation of the United Nations in 1945, April to June, only 3 African countries were independent. Egypt, Ethiopia, Liberia, and South Africa was still under the yoke of apartheid, and so wasn't technically independent. And the small number of African countries present at the formation of the United Nations also gives us a strong case to push for the transformation of the United Nations system.